Joyanna Duggar recalls hundreds of guys being lined up to date her sisters amid TLC fame, including men from jail. Her husband Austin Forsyth revealed that men would approach the Duggar family patriarch, Jim Bob, for the chance to date them, literally everywhere we went. Everyone wanted a Duggar sister, including men behind bars, according to Joyanna Duggar Forsythe. On the October 16 episode of the Unplanned podcast, Joyanna reflected back on what it was like growing up on their family's TLC television show, 19 Kids and Counting, and the courting offers her father Jim Bob Duggar would receive from men around the country. While opening up about their own dating experience, Joyanna, 26, and her husband Austin Forsyth revealed that the Duggar family patriarch would regularly field hundreds of guys who wanted the chance to date his daughters. "I had my keepsake boxes. I had letters in there from when I was like 16 to 17, she recalled, noting how random men or guys from jail would pen messages professing their love. "My mom obviously would read them first, because she's like, this is weird, but then we all laugh about it." Joyanna said that one standout man had nice, cursive handwriting, and wrote this whole long letter about how good he is, and is an option for me, and God's telling him that I should marry him, all this kind of stuff. While she only received one letter with pictures from jail, some of her older sisters would receive multiple from men who would watch the show and write letters. Despite the influx of proposals, Joyanna revealed that some people would ask to be pen pals, rather than asking for their hand in marriage. Some of these requests would be made in person. Austin recalled how men would approach Jim Bob, literally everywhere we went, even on family vacations, asking, "Hey, can I talk to your daughter?" Austin added that Jim Bob had a vetting process, and confessed that the idea of dating someone on a television show had been intimidating. "This is obviously when the show was still blown and going," he explained. "I think that's why Jim Bob wanted to have a month-and-a-half relationship with me before, to see how real it is. To introduce a guy onto your family's TV show and then next season or next episode, he's gone, like, you just don't want that constant drama," Austin continued. "I don't blame him at all for wanting to tell the guys that came like, let's nail it down. Instead, they kept everything quiet, and he and Jim Bob made sure his relationship with Joyanna had potential for something greater before going public with it and featuring him on the show." Joyanna and Austin got married in May 2017 after getting engaged just a few months after announcing their courtship on the special episode of Countingon, Ginger's wedding in November 2016. The two had been friends for 15 years before dating. In February 2017, Joyanna told People that she and Austin had gotten to experience so much already in our relationship, including lots of church ministries, road trips, hiking, hunting and remodeling houses together. "It's really special that I got to grow up with him and my family knows him really well," she said at the time. Joyanna Duggar Forsythe recalls, "Super hard postpartum period as family was falling apart, hardest time of my life." The mother of 3 recalled on the Unplanned podcast how dealing with the changes in her hormones were super hard. Joyanna Duggar Forsythe still gets emotional when she looks back at the challenges she endured over the last few years. While appearing alongside her husband Austin Forsythe on the Unplanned podcast, the former 19 Kids and Counting star opened up about navigating her postpartum period amid hard family trials following the birth of her third child Gunnar in May 2023. A year prior, on May 25, 2022, her eldest brother, Josh Duggar, was sentenced to 13 years in prison for receiving and possessing child sexual abuse materials. The disgraced reality star was initially arrested on April 29, 2021, and previously molested multiple young girls, including sisters Jill Duggar, Dillard and Jessa Duggar, Seawald as a teenager. In September 2023, Jill released her memoir counting the cost detailing her experiences. Last January, sister Ginger Duggar Vuolo published her own memoir, Becoming Free Indeed. My Story of Disentangling Faith from Fear. "With Gunnar, I had a super hard postpartum," Joyanna emotionally recalled on the podcast. "It was like the darkest time of my life. Anyway, but it was really good, but it was super hard. And so I feel like I just went through this with the hormone change." The mother of 3 said dealing with the changes in her hormones were super hard, and at the same time, I felt like my family was just falling apart. "Just my siblings and my parents and all this stuff was super hard at that time," she continued through tears. "And so I came to a point where I was just like, what is even real? What do I believe? Like this stuff. Quote. Joyanna said she eventually came to a point in her life where she entered a rebellion phase and began questioning her faith. I was like, okay, what am I going to believe for myself? She recalled, but I feel like it was good, and I can see now looking back how much God grew me in that season. When she read Ginger's book, she thought about her own relationship with her spirituality and shared how the Duggar family grew up with so many standards. Her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, never preached that she needed to practice all these things, and then God will accept you. But that's how I took it personally, she said. My whole Christianity was always a checklist, she explained. I gotta read my Bible, check. I gotta pray, check. And so I feel like it all came just crumbling down during my postpartum. My family had a lot of struggles at that time, and then these books come out, and I had to work through these things that I had. Joyanna shared how she never believed she was going to question her faith until she reached a point where she realized she wasn't perfect, and you don't have it all together, and your world's falling apart. That was a super hard time for us, just because I was out of it mentally. I just couldn't handle a lot, she added.